Welcome back to Beelzebub the Jag. The first sort of attempt has been reasonably successful, actually. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. You know, off camera, I spent about 10 or 15 minutes with the wooden chasers. I actually found the mallet, a chisel handle that was quite good. You know, just to chase in, and then just to try and sharpen up. I used a wooden mallet and hit that with a. Use this as a chaser. It's quite good. A bit clumsy. I've got various chasers I've made from old handles and bits of hickory. Regular wood just splinters. And as I said in previous videos, if you use a normal chisel, it cuts straight through. It cuts straight through the steel. So I'm just going to try and sort of tidy this up a little bit. I'm okay to sort of hit quite hard here, but I can't really hit very hard here. I can just tap it very slightly and tap it around the edges, because if I hit it too much, the metal will stretch, and if it stretches, it gets a curve, and I don't want any curve. So I can sort of hit it hard enough to just tap it, basically. If I start hitting too hard, we will definitely end up with stretch. We're okay to stretch these bits here. But I could spend half an hour here. Just slowly tapping away. Restoration isn't for everybody. As you can see, the amount of time that goes into even what appears to be the smallest job can be really quite extreme. If you're not a patient person, it's not the job for you. Restoration, goodness me, it's time consuming. Now, I've had a few people sort of send me, I'm sure the messages are well-meaning, but sort of trying to give me advice, sort of basically to cut corners and, speed the process up somewhat. And I'm not looking for a fast process. I'm looking for this to be right, and I want to get it right once and never come back to it. If this car were for sale, I would never make a profit. If I were working by the hour, it's taking too long. Of course it's taking too long, but this is my own car. And doing this sort of job on a customer's car would be ludicrous. Unless it were an extraordinarily valuable car, like a Facel Vega or something like that. But to be honest with you, even most E-types and things are quite pricey, but they don't really justify hand beating the panels when you can buy them. It really does have to be the Super League, top end Aston Martins and Facel Vegas, that type of thing that can justify your hand making panels and still being able to make a profit. You obviously were talking about £500,000 cars there, but a £75,000 Series 3 E-type, it's not worth. It's just not worth hand making the panels for it. The amount of labour involved is going to be too extreme. And the car just financially just doesn't justify it. And of course this car at best will be worth sort of £15,000. It's financially makes absolutely no sense. But this is a labour of love. This is my car. I'm looking to keep it. One day I expect my daughter will get the car. And certainly if my daughter's going to be driving it one day when I'm too old, I want it to be right. And there'll be a certain element in it for my daughter, knowing that she sees these videos, and when the time comes when she drives the car in the future, she'll remember back me sitting in the street here faffing about, and that'd be quite heartening, I suppose. There we go. But that's close to being good enough. It needs a little bit more, but I'm not going to go mad because I've still got to put the rest of the. Now then, how does it go? Let's have a look. Let's get this right. It's quite a complicated panel, and this next bit's going to be very difficult. We've got a curve which is actually disintegrated on the car, and the curve folds up only about 5 millimeters, and it's got a chamfer. So trying to work out quite how I'll do this. Not really sure. Let's have a look. How will I do this? Yep, what I'm going to have to do is chase it out on the wood. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll put this fold in afterwards. I'll mark it out on the timber. This shape here. Can you see? Yeah, this sort of curve, and I will route out 5mm deep this whole area here, and have a step coming upwards. Then I'll have to clamp the material on, and then try to avoid damaging these. I'm going to have to then bash in the other curve. So these curve downwards, and this one will curve upwards. Yeah. So you see, yeah, got these coming down, and then we'll get a curve in here somehow, and that will come up. It's going to be a devil of a job. It really is going to be a devil of a job, but a satisfying job nonetheless. You know, it's these sort of skills, hand beating panels. This is the way it was all done in the early days of motor cars. You know, there weren't press tools, but skills get lost. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, if I get that edge, that curved edge bent up, then these will need. They're actually curved, and they fold up 90 degrees. So it'll have a very shallow 5mm sort of fold, and then a 90 degree. Yeah, quite a complicated panel. So I'm not going to get too carried away with trying to make this area too perfect, because it's very likely to get damaged somehow, and I'll have to come back and repair it by hand anyway. So I'll just get the rough shape now. The more good shape, the better. You know, if it's already not particularly brilliant and then I damage it, it's going to be quite a long way to bring it back. But if it's very good and I damage it, hopefully the damage won't be too severe and I won't have too far to bring it back. I'm sure somebody's going to sort of say, well, you can buy the complete panel. Yes, I know that. I'm trying to keep this car as original as possible. And I'm not looking to speed things up. I just want to get it right. Because somebody's been very keen for me to MIG weld this car rather than oxyacetylene. And yes, I can MIG, and I do have a MIG set. I have two MIG sets, a small one and a large one. MIG's faster, yes. The problem is with MIG, it's very hard. And the other thing is you can't really control it. It forces wire in. So if you've got a very good fit with the panel with oxyacetylene or TIG, you can actually flow the two panels together without filler wire, and that's what I've been trying to achieve. Where I've had to use filler wire, I've done so, but when you're using MIG, you've got no choice. Even if your panel fit's utterly perfect, you've got loads of filler wire being jabbed in, and it goes thick and lumpy. You've got to grind it off. It's hard. It has its use as MIG. It's a very good weld, but it's not, in my opinion, for fine bodywork. I'd much rather do it the very slow way, the very, very controlled way. So as you're using the flame and you're getting a very slow molten pool, you can actually see the material melt, and you can see how deep it's melted, and you can see that both sides have melted equally. It's that slow. It's like watching ice melt. With MIG, it's easy to sort of it's easy to miss a bit basically, and some of it may not have particularly good penetration, and it's bloody hard. You're trying to grind it down afterwards. The other thing is, bear in mind, I'm working in the street, and I can't really be setting off a MIG welder in the street with the flashing and giving all the neighbours, damaged eyes. It's not really something I could do. So I'll just persevere, get this right. Agonisingly, excruciatingly slow, but getting it right just once and never return to it. Basically, that's my intention. I just refuse to rush. But I've spent a lot of time on this, far too much really, but I don't mind. And I've got to spend at least 2/3 more time. I've done 1/3 so far. I've got to, a lot more work. Next thing is I've now got to reroute one of these, make a template for the other side.